June 30th, 2115. Admiral Hone Smallowheel was starting to enjoy this miserable planet. He, as High Commander of the Technocratic Exploitation Fleet, was able to choose where on the body he'd spend his time. He opted for ocean front, near a crater lake of what was surely once a city. A relatively safe location with little threat possible. Bordered by the sea of one side and a fucking neutron crater the other, he felt safe despite the landmass he'd opted for. He hadn't expected much, to be honest. The High Report read that this world was a burned, bombed corpse, good for nothing but resources. Not even the local population could be used for labour. After the fight they put up during the FCS, they were simply deemed too combative, and had a KOS order placed on any found. We didn't know much about the locals. Humans, as they seem to refer to themselves in their Wikipedia. Yet every unit we sent for landing ended up dead within 1/198th of a local solar cycle, and after the 1/50th cycle, the top dog had enough of their shit. We'd tried the peaceful option, of landing and uplifting them into our labour force, yet they'd fought us whenever possible. It was then that we were shipped the old neutronium bombs we'd ordered decommissioned. Using them ended up being cheaper. Dropped a few hundred on every possible population centre on this wet excuse of a habitable world, and went on with our resource extractions. There was one oddity, however. After the bombings, our forces were able to land completely unopposed, with not even a single unit vanishing in 6 of their major inhabited landmasses. Yet we couldn't seem to shake troubles with one. It made no sense. This land had been bombed more thoroughly than any others, seeing how it had put up the greatest initial resistance. Its only habitable areas, all around the coastline, hadn't just been hit with bombs. The mothership had erased it. The ZHF Zaklov, pride of the UT Space Fleet, had fired its rarely used antimatter beam, where its antithesis particles hit the standard ones present in the landmass. It simply reacted them out of existence. Despite the high energy costs of firing, High Command deemed it worthy. Most of the landmass's resources were in its single large, uninhabitable sandflat anyway, and we could just replenish our hydro-oxygen reactor with the ice found encompassing the system. And thus, the continent was shrunk by 500 kilometers on all sides. Sure, the loss of resources sucked for the Empire, but it was more than made up for by the peace of mind it offered. Yet, still, the vanishings happened. Admiral Hone was deep in contemplation over that very topic, when he heard his hydropneumatic door open with a loud whoosh. The Admiral sighed, having told his underlings to knock at least 500 times by now, as he started to stand. "Stay right fucking there," came the voice behind him, clearly not Zapruvian origin. It sounded too throaty, too accented to be a native speaker, came from too high up to be one of his own. He felt a cold, metal point press against his back, as the voice spoke again. "You made a fucking big mistake with this one, cunt. Another move and it's your fucking Purple Heart. Now stand. Slowly." There was only one group it could be. With temperatures averaging upwards of 333 kelvins, the Admiral had no idea how any of them survived. The Sandflat, or as we learned it to be called from their internet and its Wikipedia, the Simpson Desert, was completely lifeless, aside from animals that had specifically evolved for its environment. Humans shouldn't have been able to survive. "How did you survive?" "It's called a fucking cave, you goddamn idiot. Maybe you'll be able to finish your genocidal cleansing if you learn what one was. Now stand the fuck up." The Admiral stood slowly, his free hands clearly showing to indicate no harm. He heard a loud rip from behind him, as he felt something sticky binding his free wrists together. You really want to know how we survived? Well, how about you come find out for yourself? You fucks are just like the Poms 400 years back. You think you know us, and how to beat us. Beat our spirit, beat our legends, our dreams. And just like them, you're dead fucking wrong.